Hey guys, Sweetie again. And yes, I am still working on this shark. I've been meaning to work on this a lot earlier, but life just kept getting in the way, and I never really got around to doing this. But off screen, I've done the eyes, and I've made some dorsal fins. And yeah, without further ado, let's keep going. Last time when I was working on this shark, I was talking about something I hated, which was hate videos. But I was thinking that today I can talk about something I love. And what I love is actually fanfiction. For those who don't know, I'm really huge on writing fanfics. Yeah. Okay, just looking at the shape, I gotta realize I gotta cut the hemming a little bit. Yeah, one of the tricky things about doing fins is that sometimes you might be drawing the right shape, but the hemming, like if you've done like what I've done where I put a lot of space, it can get in the way of getting the shape you want. So you sort of have to cut them a bit, but I've done this quite a few times, so I know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's looking way better. I don't know if you can see the shape. Yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, fanfic. I'm really big on fanfic writing. It's definitely one of my most favorite hobbies of all my creative hobbies that I have. I find it's really relaxing because it gives me a sense of control that I don't otherwise have anywhere else. I highly recommend it. It's really good, especially since I'm like a shy person who doesn't really do well in social interactions. I'm a very introverted person. So it's kind of like a nice output for me to basically be able to, sort of have that sense of control. It's just really relaxing and it's like a nice quiet activity. But even if you're not a shy person or anything like that, I feel like it's a great hobby anyway. Writing is a really fun activity. It definitely teaches you a lot about who you are and what you're really interested in, because, there are things about myself even I didn't know about until I started writing. Like, I didn't realize how much I was into monsters, for example. I know I can pin this a different way, but I find this way is a lot better for what I'm doing. In fact, one of my main storylines that I'm working on at the moment is called Monster Prom. For those who don't know, it's actually a video game. It's actually a dating simulator, and holy cow, it is probably one of the most hilarious games I have ever played. If you've got a wicked humor, you will love this game. I very much recommend buying it. I absolutely love doing Monster Prom fanfic because the game comes with a narrator, which really helps me get the style that they use. Like, okay, this is how they have it written, because a lot of it is reading, so it really does help me understand the style of writing that they use. And I absolutely love how the game pretty much just trolls you the whole time. Like, actually, last time I was playing Monster Prom, I was trying to get Damien. For those who don't know, he's the demon character. And I thought I was doing well. And then when I got to the end, I actually failed. I'm like, no! That's what makes the game so good. Sometimes you'll think you'll fail and you end up winning. But then sometimes you think you're winning and you end up failing, and you just don't know what's gonna happen, even when you think, oh yeah, I'm doing great, I've won the game. Like, oh wait, no, I haven't. And the jokes are just so good. I just don't know which one to pick to explain, to just talk about. You just gotta see it for yourself. It's just such a great game. I've got both Monster Pro and Monster Camp. I don't have Monster Road Trip yet. I mean to get it, but I haven't gotten around to buying it. I haven't really had much time to play games lately. Sort of like I was saying, I haven't had time to do this shark, so I also haven't had much time to play games either. Another fanfiction I'm doing is Pokémon Rejects, and it's basically about this girl named Elia. And basically what happens is it's an evil team that's going around kidnapping people from all over the world. They don't know why it's happening, and pretty much she gets caught in the middle of it. I really love the character, and because, like the title Pokemon Reject, she kind of starts off as being this rejected sort of person, a bit of a loser kind of character from when she was at school, and pretty much she grows from that. How does this kid grow from everything that's going on around her, and from where she has come from, and I really do love the character that I've made, and there's also her family that's in the story as well. They all play a part, and the thing about Elia is that because of her bad experience at school, she's not really good at people, but she's really good with Pokemon, which is actually a very common trait amongst people who don't get along with people. Usually they end up being really great with animals. So I thought it was a really great character to make, someone who's like, oh yeah, I understand all the Pokemon, I understand what they're feeling and this and that, but when it comes to people, it's like, I have no clue what to do. Yeah, I just thought it'd make a good story, and, sort of a contrast to Ash, who's very much this very confident, proud of himself sort of child, whereas Ellie's kind of more like, I don't know what I can do. I can't do anything, when, whether that's true or not. And obviously I'm going to have her written as she's more capable than what she thinks. It's not that she's incapable, she just doesn't believe in herself, and that's what she's got to learn to achieve. Because sometimes we are not who we think we are more than what we are capable of. And sometimes it takes a push in the right direction to see that you are not just what people are saying you are so much more than that. And I hope she's a relatable character. I hope people can see her and be like, oh, I understand, I know exactly what this is like. Hang on, I gotta really focus on this bit. Keeps wanting to fold in on itself. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. She's this character who can do so much more than what she's led to believe. I've also got a YuGiOh fanfic. So far I've only done one chapter, so there's not much I can say about it. I guess the main thing I could say is, my YuGiOh fanfic takes place between YuGiOh and YuGiOh GX. So characters like Zane and Atticus, they're going through their first year in Duel Academy. And the main character, whose name's Kelly, basically, I guess it's supposed to be her everyday life in this school. Sort of a slice of life, but with duel monsters. And last but not least, I have a mixed fandom fanfic, which is called Good Villain. It's mostly a mix between, Villainous and Hazbin Hotel. Oh, and for those who watch Hazbin Hotel, I highly recommend watching Villainous. A lot of people who watch Hazbin Hotel love Villainous. It's a really good show, and every moment of that show is pure gold. But, it's not just those two fandoms, it's not just Hazbin Hotel and Villainous, it's also got a mix of other stuff in it as well. I've made a reference to The Great Race, I've done Spyro, I've done Evil Genius. Oh, actually, I should probably mention, that with Good Villain, it's actually a sort of a trio. There's a story before a story, and then there's the story before the story. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but, I started with Villainous, and then it goes into Hazbin Hotel, and then it goes into Good Villain. Two fandoms that have come together, and afterwards I basically created my own sort of mix of fanfiction, because I just wanted to have that freedom of introducing whatever fandom I wanted, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do that, and I absolutely love doing it. I've mentioned, so many fandoms in this story so far. Even if it's just for a brief moment, it's just really fun, because it's pretty much the style of, Villainous. The thing about Villainous that I actually like, I love how it cameos other shows. It's a great introduction to shows you probably never heard of. Because I didn't know, is it Valentino? Yeah. I didn't know about that, and I was watching like, oh, that's really cool. I really like that show. I don't get much chance to see it, but every time I've seen it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I really love watching this show. And I didn't know about it until I was watching Villainous. So yeah, definitely watch Villainous if you're into Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. Because if you're into that sort of stuff, you'll definitely love Villainous. I definitely recommend it, as I've said before. So yeah, those are the 4 fanfictions I'm currently working on. I've done other fanfictions before, and you can still see them on my DeviantArt. You can definitely see how much I've changed over the years of me running fanfiction. My style was a lot more, very much like the traditional fanfiction, the lovey-dovey sort of style. But I definitely could tell that wasn't me. So my style has definitely changed over time. I'm not exactly sure what you would call my style these days. But I definitely wouldn't call it that, the typical fanfiction style. I mean, everyone has their own unique way of writing, but there is sort of, sometimes you'll notice there's a bit of a pattern that some people go for. Something I have noticed that some people use, it's very similar to the Hollywood style, like the characters and the story arc, but I'm definitely not a romantic person. That's something else I've learnt from writing. Don't get me wrong, I still have romance in my stories. It's just not the same as what they used to be. The plot doesn't so much revolve around the romance. I don't know if that makes sense, but, because sometimes I notice in fanfiction, the entire focus is on the love between two characters, and whatever else is going is kind of secondary. I'm sort of the opposite. I sort of have the plot going on, and, there is love going on, but it's not the entire focus of the whole story. There'll be moments where it's focused on it, and there's moments where it's not. But everyone has their own style of writing. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole point of fanfiction is doing whatever you want to do. And, you know, you don't have to share it with the world if you don't want to, or you can if you want to, and it's really whatever you want it to be. You could mix two completely random things together. Like, for example, in Monster Prom, Zoe likes putting, was it Sasuke and Garfield together? It's such a great game. I do plan on writing a novel one day. And not fanfiction, and I mean as in a full-on, complete, made-from-scratch story that I completely create all by myself, rather than using other people's fandoms. I've got the plot that I want. I know exactly what I want to write about, but I don't have the story yet, and I don't have quite all the characters. I think I've got one character I've made, and sort of ideas of other characters, but they're not quite fully fleshed out characters yet. But one day, yeah, I am definitely going to try and write my own book. So yeah, if you haven't tried fanfiction, I must advise to give it a go. It's a really good hobby, it's a lot of fun, and if you do plan on doing fanfic writing, I hope you enjoy it, because I know I definitely do. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about fanfic, or watch me stir. Yeah, I hope you all have a good day.